You gave me. Makes sense for me. That's a good idea. There's something and I'm not avoiding. And they found you taking advantage of this. And we've been naive all these years. It depends, like, if I get a nice room, in the lake, the river. Isn't it too? It is exactly. That's intentional. That's right. What you saying? Who you saying? Oh boy.
There's like 3 of us in town.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Like, what? Oh, like. Nobody. But it doesn't mean.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order. I'd like to begin with an invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Harrelson, could you please lead us in an invocation, followed by Commissioner Singleton.
Lord, we thank you for your loving kindness. Thank you for your tender mercy. Thank you for everyone that's here on tonight. Bless us in a special way. Bless each and everyone that's here. It's in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams.
Present.
Commissioner Harrelson. Present. Commissioner Henderson here. Commissioner Henry.
Present.
Commissioner Isom.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Commissioner Singleton.
Present.
Mayor Muhammad.
Present.
You have the floor, President.
Is there a motion for the approval of the regular minutes of September 16, 2019? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Is there a motion for the approval of special minutes of September 30,
To approve.
Support.
2019. Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I don't know what I'm voting on.
Approval of the special meeting minutes.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carries.
Was there a motion for the approval of accounts payable listing? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson.
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Discussion. Chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor. I was just noticing, check number, well, anyway, it's Fast Act Junk Removal Dump Site. Is that? Have that explained, what is that? What we're saying?
Chair recognizes City Manager.
Fast Act is a company that is planning on helping the city. Can we, as a body, get a location where they cleanup's been happening at? If possible, we can do that. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Mr. Manager, while you're doing that, could you do the same thing for Happy and Son? Those locations.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
I just have a question. Is there a cutoff date and month for grass cutting?
Chair recognizes City Manager.
I would say when the grass stops.
But there's no set.
Hearing none, Madam Clerk. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I seen a check for, do apologize for my lateness. What, two things. Number one, what amount is that has come before the commission before we vote on it? I thought it was a $5,000 amount, or is it the $2,000 amount, which I think was overturned? The other thing is there's a charge on here for sweeping across, going across America, or stepping across a refund for stepping across America, stepping across USA for dollar. That's 71628. Then also I'd ask that we successfully procure the amount for how much we're spending for telecommunications a month. I know we said we're gonna get to that, but I've not seen that. Thank you.
Yes, the required amount for city commission approval would be anything over $4,999, which would be a single purchase. But if their purchase is singular, $50 per invoice that equal 5,000, then that doesn't require city commission approval, even if it's to the same vendor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I noticed that we have a tree service work going on in the city. I need to know more information as to where that work is coming from, who's determining what area, what trees need to be cut down. That's, I guess that's the only issue question I had about this.
Chair recognizes city manager.
We'll make sure we get you a full report on that, Commissioner. We'll send it to all of the commissioners.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seed.
Yeah, lastly, I see a set up this, new aluminum feed to something there. Also, thought some work was done volunteer, but it wasn't. But the aluminum feed that's check number 71594 for 1995. But you get back to me on that, I understand that. Thank you for reminding me.
I do have a question. Workman Excavating Incorporation sidewalks and ramps project total $5,941.10. That number is page 3 of 6. And it is the second to last item on page 3 of 6. I was curious to know, was there a bid for that contract and where was this work done?
We'll get that information to you, Mr. Mayor, and to the rest of the commission.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Adams,
With explanation of my vote under the suggestion of our city attorney as in the beginning. An accusation was made at a committee meeting last week. It's no secret that this community knows that I am relative to those that own WeCycle. I vote no because it's a conflict of interest for me to vote yes. And I just want to make that clear, that I don't vote on accounts payable when they are up to be paid for that purpose. Because I don't like an accusation made to make me look as though something funny is going on. And I'm going to defend myself, but I also want the residents to know that as a taxpayer and resident of Benton Harbor, it's your right. You have just as much right to bid on anything as anybody else. Keep that in mind. But I'm voting no.
Mayor Pro Tem Seeds.
Well, I have to say, since we all get paid, we should vote. But I vote yes.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to citizens' comments. There's a 3-minute maximum per speaker. You can register with the city clerk for those who like to participate in the public comment.
Ms. Emma Kennard,
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I first want to get this gift of a plant to Mayor Pro Tem C. I gave you a cactus.
Put that right in front of you.
Also, I'd like to say, good evening to everyone. I'm just closing the garden, close to closing the garden. It's almost harvesting time over. And I want to show you all some beautiful things. We've gotten a lot of our herbs out there. We got the parsley and the basil. We got tomatoes. We've got pears. We've got the squash, butternut squash. And we got potatoes, sweet potatoes on steroids.
Oh my God.
Have you seen potatoes like this?
Steroids.
On steroids. I got frightened when I saw them coming out of the type. We got beautiful tomatoes. These are found even at our location at 275 Pipestone, but the potatoes and all is over there on May Street. And we've got, had 2 different types of white potatoes. So I want to say to everyone that we should pay attention to what's going on. Because of things that is happening in our United States, we better learn how to take the soil and take advantage of growth. So many people are too cute to put their hands in soil. So you move on, don't come knocking at my door when it comes to time, the lean time, because I'm gonna be going in it for myself. But I'd like to say we've had a beautiful year. And God is really blessing the Fresh Start Children's Garden. And we hoping to continue this. We're on a mission for next year to start up a program to help support our children through college. Many of the families have been hardly hit with economics. That's why it's so important that we learn how to grow and even put away some things. As I showed you all some weeks ago, some of the jars of the children had canned some strawberries. So I'm looking forward to Benton Harbor being the gem that it is. I mean, just precious like a precious diamond. And if we all remember what we have and hold on to what we have, we can have a better community. So I'm hoping that with all of the things okay, I'll forget it then. But I was just using this as a metaphor for change.
A minute, please.
And this is our mission statement, is that the Fresh Start Children's Garden is designed to educate, inspire, motivate, and introduce children to growing food as a metaphor for change. And that metaphor is to us. You take care of what you got, water it and take the best of care, feed it with what it needs, and it'll produce for you. The USDA has helped me in many ways, and it's a help to us all. And let's take advantage of all the things that we have here in our community, and don't let anyone interfere with our path to making beautiful music here in Benton Harbor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marvin Haywood.
Hey, good evening to all. And like she said, it's gonna be a beautiful season.
hopefully as we move into 2019, being that we have
You mean 2020.
2020, because 2019 almost over. Right? All right. As we move into 2020, hopefully, each committee can have something on the agenda that they're trying to put forward and move forward. And as time go on, when we have comment section, they can speak on the progress of what they've done within their committees to move the city forward. There's a lot of change coming in 2020. So we want to put forth some thoughts and ideals that will collectively move the city forward. Hopefully, we can bring into fruition a lot of things that will capture a lot of economic dollars. On a week ago, we were here when it came to the ordinance to prohibit marijuana, okay? And the reason that was saying to prohibit it and to put it on hold so that you could set in place the tools necessary to where you can capture those dollars. Because marijuana is a profitable business. And in order for people to come in, you have to be able to capture those tax dollars. So you have to have rules and regulations set up. See, this is a home rule municipality. So therefore, certain state regulations don't apply when it comes to having your own regulations and rules set up and ordinance set up when you go to letting people come into your city to do business. So that's basically what it was, to prohibit it at that point. So hopefully within the next week or two, we can have something on the books. So when people come to apply, okay, we can have it set up to where we can generate some dollars coming in, basically. And like I said, as we move forward, there's an enrichment because the city is on the move. Make no mistake about it, the train that left the station, we knew that years ago. But yet we have to jump on and get in where we fit in. Because when it comes to this economic boom, and I say one thing about this riverfront project, I would ask for my 80 million up front. I tell them to give me my tax money up front. I mean, I'm just keeping it real, because if you go to any other municipality and you say you're gonna put in a $500 million project, they want their tax money up front, because on the back end, you might not get paid on the back end. And I say that because we have to look at what's going on now where we're in the tax tribunal with Harbor Shores, people that we entrusted to give a tax break. And like right now, when the money's due us, it's a situation with holding up the dollars that we had rightfully coming to us, and we played fair. Sometimes fair exchange, if it's fair exchange, it's not a robbery, but sometimes you can get robbed doing fair exchange because the key is in the language. So we have to be able to understand the paperwork that comes before us. And if we don't have a clear conception of what's being put before us, we might agree to something that might not be to our benefit. So we have to be careful with that language, because they say the key is in the language. Certain words mean certain things. So I ask that as we move forward, everybody be conscious of what is and not get caught up on what seems to be. Thank you.
Mr. Michael Ford.
That passed the order. You got to church now.
We all have a church.
All the time. All the time.
Good evening. I guess a little bit of show and tell here tonight. So remember last year in June, there's a gentleman who sat here with me. He was the great grandson of Stern Brunson, who was the founder of Benton Harbor, Mr. Paul Philstrup. Well, this year, Mr. Philstrup and his wife actually retired, and they sold their house in St. Joe. And upon packing up their house, he called me up and said, Michael, he wanted to share some things with me. We got an in-kind donation for the Benton Harbor Historical Preservation Society. Along with that, some of these artifacts. I want to share these with you because they belong to all of us. The history of Benton Harbor belongs to all of us. So these are called the small tumbler souvenirs. The one with the scallops on top is called the scallop swirl, or a York Harrington bone from the U.S. Glass Company. This is from 1893. This one here is 126 years old, and the city of Benton Harbor was only 27 years old at the time. The other one here, the little mug, which has the carving on here is incredible to really look at the detail to it. It's called the Button Arches. It's by Duncan and Miller from 1897. This is 122 years old, and the city of Benton Harbor was only 31 years old at the time. And this is a little toothpick holder that was common at that time. At the end of dinner, you would actually set out the toothpicks. So it's very common to sit there and pick your teeth and pick over dinner. And this one is uniquely also, this is actually a silver medallion from Benton Harbor from 1866 to 1966. It is the Corporation of Benton Harbor, and it's the silver medallion for the centennial. And this is just a part of our collection that will be shared with the city. We actually have acquired a nice piece of property, and we're going to be moving forward with the history of Benton Harbor as the city does move forward. Just wanted to share these things with you. And Mr. Philstrup, thank you so much.
That's the last one that I have.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This brings us to our consent calendar items. Are there any items that should be separated from the consent calendar? Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Adopt the resolution and amendment to Charter 6, alcohol license, alcoholic liquor. Resolution approving amend restated articles of incorporation for community emergency services for medic, 1 ambulance.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Jones.
Adopt a resolution supporting the establishment of a racial equity committee. And adopt a resolution approving the appointment to the Downtown Development Authority, Audrey Peoples.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Adopt a resolution approving the resignation of Planning Commissioner Ellis Mitchell as city representative.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I would like to add a resolution, Honorable Chair. First, a resolution concerning the attorney firm. I'd like to add that to the agenda from the floor.
Do you have a resolution?
No, we already did a resolution 2 years ago. That same resolution is still valid, and I just want to reinforce it.
You don't have any?
I just told you, we did a resolution 2 years ago that passed by this majority vote. And I am going to reestablish it and put it back on the records so we can do what we want to do, what we need to do. No, I do not have it. It's already been approved and no action happened from it. And I'm putting it back on the floor.
Where's the resolution?
Is something wrong with you, Mayor? I just said I don't have the resolution. We already approved the resolution. It's on the books. It was a majority win approved resolution, and nothing was done about it. And I'm putting it back on the agenda.
Point of clarity.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I would ask of the said young lady from the commission to state what the actual resolution was. Because there's so many resolutions that we have concerning our attorneys. Can you state what the actual resolution was, and then maybe we can get some footing or some ground on it, because I don't know right now which resolution we're speaking of. Thank you.
The resolution was to give the city attorney firm a 60-day notice and to put an RFP out for a new attorney firm, for a new attorney.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Duly noted, clerk.
Yes.
Are there any other items that will be lifted from the floor with no resolution? Carry none. The only consent calendar item will be read, adopt a resolution approving the payment to the Benton County Clerk's Office for the August 6th primary election. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adopt resolution.
Support.
Motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats and supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to our separated items. Adopt an ordinance amendment to Chapter 6, parentheses, alcoholic liquors. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton and supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
I guess I'm just looking for clarity. I didn't get a chance to go over it. And I must have missed it when it came through. Committee. What committee was it?
This was the item, Commissioner Adams, that was part of the special meeting that was tabled, and the item was moved to the legislative committee.
Alcohol.
Marijuana.
Where are we?
It says alcohol, liquors, and marijuana.
The city attorney will give us some clarity.
Madam Commissioner, this was put in front of the legislative committee meeting as the as relating to the medical marijuana or the recreational marijuana that we talked about last week. I was speaking with the clerk about where to put it in the ordinance, and then maybe at the same time be able to codify the medical marijuana legislation. And instead of throwing it in somewhere, we amended the alcohol ordinance, which is Chapter 6, and we just renamed it alcohol and marijuana. And then so we added Articles 4 and 5, which the medical marijuana facilities is Article 4, which just restates the city's ordinance that was passed last year. Because at this point, before this was done, it was a standalone ordinance, so we're just putting it into the ordinance itself. And then we're adding Article 5, which is the recreational marijuana facilities. And I took the change that was made through the committee and put that and renumbered that 6.61, where it states that the city is prohibiting recreational marijuana establishments within its boundaries pursuant to the Michigan's Act.
Okay, Honorable Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
we're on this first item, right? That states alcohol and liquors,
Yes, that's the
and
first.
nothing about marijuana. Okay, I'm just
Well, see-
making sure that I'm not confused, but I understood what the attorney is saying, that he's putting this under here. Now, this has nothing to do with us opting in or out. This has to do with basically just putting it under the same taxing rules and laws and regulations or advertisements, what?
We are opting out, as we were discussing, last week. And
So that's what this is.
Yes, and it's putting it somewhere in the ordinance that's we're putting alcohol and marijuana together versus putting it somewhere, at the end of the ordinance or anywhere else. So we're amending the alcohol chapter to call it alcohol and marijuana.
And so again, my question is, in times past, we've had to go through public hearings for changes of ordinances amending or what have you. And we don't, because if that's the case, we need to hurry up and take care of some other stuff.
Not for ordinance.
But that's what this says.
You don't have to have,
Amendment.
right, you don't have to have a public hearing.
Okay, I get that. I need clarity, and I think I'm getting it. So this is an ordinance, and for this type of amendment, just like if the medical marijuana ordinance needed to be amended, there's no public hearings that need to be. Okay.
For clarity, if you don't mind, Mayor,
Chair,
for zoning ordinances, it requires public hearings, not for an ordinance.
Okay, just zoning.
Zoning.
Okay, zoning, okay. I don't know what these ordinances actually say. I mean, are we limiting ourselves or something? I don't know. If my colleagues could help me, for those that actually read the full document and fully understand our liquor and alcoholic liquor license.
so at this time, Commissioner, cities have the option to either opt in or opt out, given that the medical marijuana recreational was passed by referendum throughout the state of Michigan. So cities have the ability to opt in or the ability to opt out. And that would allow for us, based on our ordinance, to prohibit people from setting up business and shop and until, can I finish please? Until the state of Michigan put some form and definition, because as it stands, the state of Michigan is attempting to regulate. And while they catch up, this protects us. And I think just the, community, while we put together a ordinance perhaps, or expand to regulate sales, etc., and business.
Okay, and I'm still trying to understand for clarity that this is us opting in or out, but that's not what the last one said that came before us. And I have a problem when stuff like that takes place. I mean, this is, the wording is just totally different. It's deceitful. And I'll just call it for what it is. And if we're talking about marijuana, then this right here, that's before us, should actually state that.
It states it here. If you flip it on the back page, this is the actual draft of the ordinance.
Okay,
Now, order, please.
Let's read this. Let's go through this together.
Well, I have the floor, Commissioner Adams.
The remaining orders and talk to those that's out of order.
Right, but we can't have people 3 and 4 different conversations on the floor, sir.
I don't have it.
Commissioner Adams,
Okay, I don't have it.
you don't have this sheet?
I see it.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Just for a point of clarity, you have liquor stores right now that are inches away from churches, schools, wherever. I mean, one just bought a liquor license from Oasis and moved it right across the street on Bus Street over there across from Market Covenant Church. And they're selling state minimum liquor right there, and they leave out their church and people buying booze. And they ain't buying liquor, they ain't buying alcohol like beer and wine, they're buying straight liquor. So if we're trying to regulate the marijuana sales to be, I would rather, I'm not trying to be funny, but you don't hear about people getting killed off marijuana more than you hear about people drinking and driving. So if we're gonna mandate or regulate, then we need to kick out the word grandfather. Because what's gonna happen is these people who have license now are gonna be grandfathered in this clause, Because the clause is just gonna start 10 days after we pass this, or whatever.
There's no license, Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're exercising your authority on recreational marijuana, and then we're adding it to liquor, from what I'm reading, Honorable Mayor, and what I've read on this is just a funny way to change the common book heading. When you look at it, Honorable Mayor, and it talks about the grower facility, none of this is too far gone. This even be added to alcoholic liquors. This has so much in it that it should be standalone.
Yeah.
Why would we talk about marijuana growers, safety compliance, processor, secure transporter, the other type of marijuana related businesses license? But when you start using words like any other type, and marijuana processors and safety compliance facilities and growers, that is under the statute of medical. So medical marijuana does not have growers?
Medical recreational has nothing to do with medical. This clearly states.
But what I'm stating to this body is this has nothing in this to say strictly recreational. When I'm looking at this right here, this section 6 and 60, it says the chapter shall be defined and initiated, law number 1, 2018. Marijuana establishment means a marijuana grower. It does not specifically say, and I'm not saying this for the sake of me, but it does not say recreational. When you start lumping things with just pure title, you can somehow maneuver both into one. I would ask of this body that you do give the respect of the voters who, more people voted for marijuana than they voted for us, to put recreational instead of medical.
May I speak?
Mr. Attorney.
Commissioner Season, Commissioner Adams, I want to just point out that Article 5, the title says recreational marijuana facilities, and I threw in 60 definitions, and I used the definition from the Recreational Marijuana Act, and I state that the marijuana establishment, when used in this chapter, shall be defined as initiated law number 1 of 2018, MCL 333.27953, because that is the definition of marijuana establishment in Michigan's Recreational Marijuana Act. There is no definition of medical marijuana or marijuana establishment in the Medical Marijuana Act.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Wouldn't it behoove us to put some strength behind liquor stores too?
Well,
if we're adding some language to protect our people against marijuana, should we add some things where you can't have a liquor store directly across from a church?
Well, this was, again, we were just finding a placeholder for medical marijuana. We weren't changing the alcohol provisions. We were just, and if the commission wants us to put marijuana its own separate chapter, we can do that.
I would ask that we put some stronger teeth in even the liquor stores.
We don't regulate the liquor store.
Exactly, that's why marijuana should be with it.
But in the law, doesn't it not state that liquor stores have to be so many far distance from churches and schools?
You do.
And that should be reported to the liquor commission.
No problem. But I would do ask this body to separate this and not put window dressing on it, because you're gonna have more problems than a lot trying to add it to the liquor. I mean, if you have no control over alcohol and liquor, why are you gonna put liquor on there anyway? If you have no control, that's what we just said, we have no control over alcohol and liquor.
Well,
I'm talking about the fee. That's a state law. The liquor, the state regulates the liquor in terms of how far it can be from a a church or a park. The ordinance is on recreational, but, you know, so I'm no drum major for it, so whatever y'all wanna do with it, just do
So we have until November 1st.
it. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. Now, last we talked about recreational marijuana and we wanted to opt out. Now, we already opt in because the voters already had a will for it. So we opt in. We don't have an option. That's just law. So if we're gonna opt out, and I don't see that kind of language in here, I see it lumping medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, and it does just not sound right to me because they're two different things. Medical is regulated by the state completely, and
this will
recreational will be regulated, but it will come from us, a local home rule community. It's what we allow in our city. So I'm like Mayor Pro Tem, I don't like the fact that you're putting recreational and medical together. And I don't see anything that opt us out or put a moratorium on it in this resolution. Now,
make a motion.
Chair recognizes city manager. He wanted to weigh in.
Did he just interrupt me or did I just stop talking? Go on, Mr. Richard.
Let me see if I can help a little bit here. First of all, if we just go back to the agenda and put in alcohol, liquors, and marijuana, that would solve your concern
No.
of having them together.
No, it wouldn't solve it.
Okay,
And the only reason it would not solve it, Honorable City Manager, is because alcohol has been dwelling in the places it has throughout the community for as long as. And whatever is already on the books, they are already regulated by the state. And I think that this is something that needs to be kept separate. Because we don't, it seems to me in my mind of common sense that if we put something like this with alcohol, if we put the marijuana with the alcohol ordinance, then it's going to take place just like the stores that sell as grown legs and just wherever they are. No, I think that this is something we need to take another week, and we can always do whatever we need to do if it takes a special meeting to come back before November 1st and make sure that we are doing this right for the people that have waited, I don't know how many decades, to stop going to prison over something they won't freely be able to do on American soil.
Amen.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I'm gonna say this one more time. I'm in agreement that if you wanna put medical marijuana in the same category as alcohol, but not recreational. And there is no ordinance. We talked about an ordinance and there is no ordinance in this document to say that we're opting out. And that was on the agenda and it's not here now. And I don't know why.
Chair recognizes City Attorney.
Commissioner Henry, I just want to point out again on the page 2 of the draft ordinance, section 6-61, prohibition of recreational marijuana establishments. It says the city of Benton Harbor prohibits recreational marijuana establishments within its boundaries pursuant to the Michigan Regulation and Taxation Act, section 6.1, which is the section in the Michigan Act that allows the city to opt out. So I think that is the language that you're looking for, Madam Commissioner.
Tell me again what section
It
that's in?
says section 6-61, prohibition of recreational marijuana establishments. It may be hard to read because of the draft.
No, I can see it. Thank you, sir.
Just wanted to,
Well, I just still believe that recreational and should be separated from alcohol. It's a very special, issue for the citizens, and we really need to do their due justice on it. If we opt out, we get no taxes. We get no small businesses. It's a lot of things that we don't get if we opt out. The question came up with, what do we do if we opt out? What is the process to opt back in? So far, I have not gotten that answer, not even from the state, let alone local information. And that's important. We opt out, how do we get back in? What process? If we put a moratorium on, all we have to do is say, the moratorium is ended and we're back in. If we opt out, what do we have to do with the state to opt back in? That was a valid question and it didn't get answered.
All we would need to do is create a ordinance
To put it.
as we did with the medical. As we opt in, we approve a ordinance to regulate sales where they can be. I mean, it's very identical to what happened with the medical. If I think that it's the will of the commission to create a totally separate language or chapter in our current ordinance to regulate or to opt out and remove it totally from alcohol and liquor. Is that something that could be done, Madam Clerk?
If that can be done, we would need to, address the ordinance that's in front of us right now, as presented.
I make a motion to table it.
support.
Madam Clerk?
We are tabling it to, is there a date, is there a meeting,
When's this meeting?
Commissioner Adams?
When we can spend some time on it, who's,
Public safety.
okay, yes, there you go.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
No.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson? Yes. Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Chair,
I have to go.
can I get a clarification so I can understand exactly where we are on this recreational marijuana? We had a date of October 30th,
It
and
was
now we
moved to
know,
November.
now we know it's moved to November. When are we going to create the language or create the
That'll be hammered out at the committee.
So be there. And let's do that.
how many times can we hammer it out?
Oh, Jesus.
We do have an agenda to abide by.
Okay, thank you.
Well, adopt a resolution approving the appointment to the Downtown Development Authority, Audrey Peoples.
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. It is supported by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Is there discussion?
Make a roll call.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yeah.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Ister,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Adopt a resolution approving the amended and restated articles of incorporation for Community Emergency Service, DBA, Medic One Ambulance. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Ice. Discussion. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. I was at this committee, and I think I was like maybe been 2 minutes late. And I think 2 items had already been discussed, and this just happened to have been one of them. I did read some of it, and what I did read was kind of like disturbing, and then I had to take off and take care of some other business. But what it reminded me of is where we are with the ownership of our airport. I think there was once upon a time Benton Harbor was the sole owner of Ross Field. It used to be, and now we only have 51%. But I guess before I go there,
62%.
I need clarity. I'm sorry,
62%.
62. Where'd it come from? Since last week? I mean, we're not talking about the airport though. But for the past 15, 19 years, I've known for it to be 51, even from the meetings that I've attended. Face to face, sitting at tables with other members. My question is the purpose and how this affects the residents. And I didn't get a chance to ask that question because they had moved on to another agenda item.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Ice.
Yes, this was brought up in the legislative committee meeting, and I think it is just a language change. It's just a language.
It updates, I believe, the member communities, and it clarifies that Spectrum Health, Lakeland, and Berrien County are the ex officio members.
I'm sorry.
Can we have some, silence so he can say it again?
Well, so the first rule change, the only real substantive changes are Article 3CE. It extended the service area membership to reflect the current membership. So it added Lake Charter Township, Baroda Township, City of Bridgman, City of New Buffalo, Chickadee Township, Weesaw Township, and it removed some of those municipalities who are no longer part of this Medic One, City of Watervliet Township, Hartford, and Hartford Township. So it just is making things current because this is its 7th Amendment, and it changes as communities become involved and communities decide to opt out.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Sounds like what they were trying to do with the dollar ride, trying to get a whole lot of people involved and not paying no money. And we're paying a millage for this, and it's part of our millages and our taxes. All these other municipalities kicking in some money. Because I don't want no language changing, and they driving way out of town and they're not putting no money where their mouth is. My next question becomes, did a representative come from Medic One? Or did the attorney come to explain what they're trying to ask for? Because they was trying to push the dollar ride to driving out to Lake Township and Watervliet and all these other places, and none of them had a millage. So if we're paying a millage, and I know my taxes do say Medic One on them. If they're not paying a millage on them, then I'm not voting to change nothing. Secondly, there needs to be some training on how they treat black people. Because I've witnessed them taking people out their house with no clothes on and all kind of other garbage and their treatment of people, they won't serve you if a certain amount of people in the house, and all that kind of garbage. So whoever serves on that board needs to become accountable to this board, because it's a joke. Sometimes you see them driving slow on a call when they should be driving fast. Now, how in the world are they gonna drive from Napier to Lake Township or to Waterloo Township? Unless they have a HUD station somewhere else, I am not with it unless we find out that these people are putting skin in the game. Because that's the same thing they were trying to do with the dollar ride. They were trying to drive us everywhere, but nobody wanted to pay. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
I am seriously trying to understand this, because I came to the committee meeting to ask these questions to keep from having to do it now, but I don't remember the attorney being there unless he left after this item was addressed. But from what I read, it was actually stating that Benton Harbor would be the sole owner, like proprietor or something, and other communities or municipalities can opt in and join us. I mean, and I just heard him explain something totally different.
City Attorney, are these other municipalities paying into the service?
Yes, it's reflecting the current membership. So it's, all of these people are owners or members of this corporation. And then it shows that the Waterville Township, Hartford, and Hartford Township are no longer part of this corporation. So
Is there anything in the bylaws that would reflect that in order to be a member of the corporation, you must pay into to secure your membership, if that's the right word, or solidify their association?
well, I don't have the bylaws, but let's see.
It sounds like this needs to.
But there is Article 13, page 11, corporation shall have authority to charge such fares or fees and enter into contracts for the ambulance and or medical service as shall necessary be to provide funds to meet the obligations of the corporation. Let's see. So I believe, Mayor Mohammed, that it's, the only way you can become a member is to pay the millage for your community. It's based on the number of citizens in that municipality.
Chair recognizes the city manager.
Commissioners, this was brought to you by the fire chief, the public safety fire chief, and he's not here. And this is a renewal of an ordinance that was already in effect.
It's the seventh amendment, seventh change to the articles of the articles of incorporation from this has been in effect since 1975, and this is just again making it, updating it so that it's current with the new municipalities who are now part of this corporation, and it's also Article 7C. It's making the name change from Lakeland to Spectrum Health Lakeland, so that's just kind of they're just making some clarifications and making it current.
So I want to read here Article 16, where that it says withdraw. A withdrawing municipality shall have no further interest in the assets of the corporation and shall not be responsible for any liabilities or debts incurred after the effective date of withdrawal. Contributions, Article 17, in the event it becomes necessary to finance all any part of the operating expenses of the corporation by contribution. Any contributions made to the corporation by the constituent members shall be on the basis of population, which means that each constituent member shall contribute a percentage equal to the percentage of proportion that the population of the constituent municipality bears to the population of all constituent municipalities. Contributions that are required from extended service area members may be based on different formula depending on the amount needed for that service area. So I think it establishes there that all members pay based upon population, and it is a requirement as long as they are a member of the Medic One. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. There's 2 points real quickly. Nobody can enact a millage on people without a vote. So these municipalities are gonna have to vote on the millage, one, for being a part of Medic One. And Medic One is a consortium that had a autonomous board that was established by the municipality. The city of Benton Harbor is a charter member under original articles of the incorporation agreed to levy a millage and pay to the entity, which was done back in the 70s. What is happening is now you find that Lakeland is expanding and buying other hospitals and other places, and they want their coverage to expand. Right? That's not what it is. I mean, if we're just enacting them to be a part of it, we're voting for them to be a part of it, and they have no millage, then are they gonna enact the millage on the people? You can't have a millage in the city without people voting on it, right or wrong.
We're amending it because you have the change in Lakeland, now Spectrum.
Okay.
And then you have Waterville Township, and Hartford withdrawing. So those names have to be taken out or off of the document. So that's the purpose of the amendment.
It says to include extended service area membership of the corporation to Lake Charter Township, Rhoda Township, Richmond City, New Buffalo City, the Buffalo Township, Chickaman Township, and Weesaw Township, the voting rights for extended service area members. So that means we're adding those, even though we're subtracting others.
And they would have to contribute based on their population.
They'll have to contribute based on the population, but also based on the millage. You cannot enact a millage on people without them saying yes to it.
I believe they're current members, Commissioner Seats. So so they've already voted for it. And so this is just making their inclusion formalized in this document.
Is there any way possible we can bring this to the public safety and get all that in documentation that they are paying millages and that we're voting on millage paying participants? Because what happened with Takata, y'all remember, when Mr. Alex Little came before us, he was explaining to us that they wanted us to extend our services, but then nobody wanted to pay extra.
But see, Medic One is not Takata. It's a totally different.
But Medic One is still paid for by millage.
But there's contributors. Benton Harbor's a contributor. Baroda's a contributor.
And there's also contributors of Takata, though, I'm aware.
Who?
We can move forward.
The only contributor I know to Takata is the city of Benton Harbor. There's no other contributor.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
My question is, it seems like we renewed or amended or passed, increased or something on a millage concerning Medic One about 4 years ago.
No increase. There was an increase
There was
on the
something.
library that the
There was
residents
something with
voted
the
to
Medic,
increase.
and maybe it was 5 or 6 years ago, but I know it hasn't been that long. But anyway, Is this also attached, when it comes to medic, is this also attached to our 911? Is it part of our 911?
911 is, I believe, handled by Benton County.
Okay, so that's a countywide thing. Okay, so medic is as well, but others are opting out. I'm just trying to understand it. Others are opting out of the local.
Waterville Township and Hartford, they are withdrawing.
This isn't costing the residents anything.
No,
That's
it's
what I
not costing.
basically.
It will not raise any cost on the residents. This is basically just, as I think someone said, cleaning up the
Okay,
document.
so it not only document, but if it's moving from Lakeland to Spectrum, is it meaning better service? Just asking.
We would hope so.
Yeah, we would.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Harold.
Is this on the motion to table?
Yes. I didn't get a motion to table this item.
I put a motion on the floor to table and no support.
File. Whom?
There was no support.
I apologize.
This is on the actual item. Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
No.
Commissioner Adams?
This is recorded, not costing the residents anything. Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next resolution that has been separated, adopt a resolution approving the resignation of Planning Commissioner Ellis Mitchell as a citizen representative. Motion is made by
Support.
Commissioner Henderson, and it is supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there a discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
No, I didn't. I have to ask a question. Is there a conflict there with our city manager, who should be the representation of us on the planning commission? Being on that board, I thought that before we did have a city manager sitting on that board. Do we need to change? Is the problem the title? I mean, do we need to change the authority? Or I thought that always the city manager did some planning commission.
So if you look at this fine language here, it states that he is currently in the seat of a citizen representative, which Mr. Mitchell is a citizen. He was appointed or recommended for appointment by myself and approved by this council to be a citizen representative. Now he occupies the office of the city manager, which has a seat virtue or by virtue of this position. So what this does, again, cleaning up, it opens up that citizen representative seat for someone who is just a citizen, and Mr. Mitchell will occupy as a city manager. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I would ask a question, should we hire him first?
Well, he's the interim manager at this time, and he,
Put a resolution to the floor to hire him, I guess.
by virtue of that position, he is automatically on the planning commission.
Call for the question.
This is on the actual item. Commissioner Harrelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
On hire him? Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Mayor Muhammad?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The last separated item, adopt a resolution supporting the establishment of a racial equity committee.
Support.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, and it is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Jones.
I do remember the young lady that came before us and presented this. And our thoughts on it and whatnot. I'd like to know if any of the commissioners, any doubt or any question of what this really addresses. We speak so much on things out here in the community that's not equal, unfair, whatnot, even racially biased. But we tend to vote on things that still don't support us in the long run. So I'd like to know, while we have the young lady here, if there's any question as to what this actually means, or if there's any question as to what does racial equity actually mean? What's the definition?
Call for the question.
The chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. I do sincerely hear what you're saying, but this is a long mile that we're gonna travel. We talk about having equality in race. We're about 180 years or 200 years behind.
Equity.
With the quality or equity of race that NAACP, who supposedly been doing something. You got the Operation Push and all these other things going on that support power. The only thing they do is they somehow funnel down. First fight gonna have to be in the court system, educational system. Then you have to change the mind of your people. I don't have a problem with this committee being in effect, but I do think that it's gonna be a long mile to travel. Because we're more racist than anybody. We kill our own more than anybody else. So it ain't just the others that are doing it. We need to try to figure out a way to somehow start taking care of our own women and children and different things. And treat them right. Because you got kids, you got a young man and woman going to court every day and nobody showing up. And Errol Palladium, God bless them, I don't think they selling Sunday papers no more. They're still selling Sunday papers. No, they stopped selling Sunday papers. But they showed you best, and I'm done at this point. This point is racial equity. When you had the young black boy who committed murder on Pipestone, you had the young white boy who committed murder in St. Joe who killed his stepfather, who said he was gonna leave school and kill him. Same judge, same day. Young black boy got life. Young white boy gets 12 months in the county. The girl who was just looking down the street got 8 years. The other lookout black boy got 12 years. And again, the young white man who killed his stepfather, who only reason he's in prison now is because he had a probation violation. So we want equality, but it's gonna be a long mile because this is intentional, socialized, undercurrent racism where even some of us in this room, for some odd reason, can't seem to get along with each other, but yet we're the only people in the area in power. They don't give you no county seat. They're not gonna elect you to treasurer. They're not gonna elect you to any of the county positions. This is a area where you are being dictated and controlled and act like you don't even know it. When people say they bring a job to your community and bust people in, and ain't nobody saying nothing. So if we gonna support them, then we're gonna have to put some new gym shoes on. And we gonna have to put our money on our mafias like South Africa and start shutting people down.
That's right. That's true.
If you don't support us, then we're gonna shut you down. Now, if that's where we're going, I'm with it. But if it's just another organization for somebody to say, I give you $20,000 to try to figure it out, I'm not with that no more. Because my son experienced in this community going to school with nooses,
You call a person and they put on the news and they don't say nothing. St. Joe, when they put out, kill all the black people, extinct the race, and then your beloved prosecutor gets on the paper and says, I don't want to end a boy's life, but yet a black boy is still a candy bar, he getting charged with him being on his record for life. I know that's pushing the agenda, but I'm saying, are we willing to stand with it and make sure that we put some feet with it? And if we don't do that, then we can do it. But the reason they ain't just let up the bridge just to see how many people ain't coming over from here. They letting up the bridge right now to see how can they stand without you. And making it harder for people who walk to get to court. Making it harder for people who gotta be there at 8. I can keep going, I'm sorry, man, but if that's what we're going with it, I'm with it. But I'm not just with another pop-up organization to say, you know, we gonna do it just for long enough, and as soon as our feelings get hurt, we're gonna stop. I'm not with that. Because, and then we gotta do something with our own. Because these young boys, we can't blame the other man for killing our kids when we killing each other. So we have to educate our own kids to say, put your gun down and put your book up. Let's see what we can do from there. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, for the extended time.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Just kind of go off of what the Mayor Pro Tem basically made the case of what we definitely need to do. It is going to be a long journey. You know, all this stuff been going on for some time, but you know, you can't make headway in the journey if you don't start. So, young lady that's been working on this and came through committees and folk have expressed interest, and that's good. You know, it's time to address these issues. If you don't start nowhere, you won't get nowhere. So, and then talking about it is definitely a start. We already know what's going on, but it's good now to see some movement to start addressing these things, and just hopefully this be one of those things that go to full course and not just drop off like the Mayor Pro Tem said. So I'm looking forward to see this in operation and giving it all my support.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. And I want to thank the young lady that brought this forth. I hope that everybody takes a card of an event that's going to take place November 1st out at Lake Michigan College. I'm grateful for this program, and I'm not intimidated by it, because I've been at this type of stuff for 20 years now. I was at it as a parent before the 20 that I've been involved here. But now that my children are grown, 1, 2, gone, this work must carry on, because it's not just about me and my children. All of our children are going to be somebody's neighbor. And we have to shape and form them to be the type of neighbor that you don't mind having living next door to you. But there are some issues, some equity, races, you name it, all kind of issues all over this country that needs to be dealt with. And it's got to start somewhere. I've been holding on to this thing. And yesterday I gained another thing that has everything to do with the thing that we're talking about. And see, right now it's just a thing. We got to give it some legs so that it moves. And what that event that I shared with everybody is about is exactly what this program does. But politically, it needs some legislation on it. It needs to be some law that starts right here in City Hall for our youth. And this is one of the reasons this young lady brought this forth. And if it takes a program, to get with another program, to strengthen another program, to get something done for our youth, to turn them into the political powerhouses that they are, it's gonna take a whole lot of pair of tennis shoes with some feet in them and some hands on deck. Many hands and feet can get much done. And everybody is needed. I went to the school today and handed out the things that that we had ordered and paid for without asking the city, but the time has come to where we need something for our children to help with this event because they have to eat. We have some matching money, but we need the city's help to pour into our children, whether it come from block grant dollars, I don't care where it comes from. We're asking the city now to help provide our children, putting them in one venue. And only those that are being vetted are going to be in attendance from several different schools, not only from Benton Harbor, but some other areas that are also my brother's keeper communities. There's a lot of funds that come down, but let me go back. When I was at the school today, I talked to some very interesting people just standing at the front door and had a lot of knowledge about the programming that this program actually has to offer. And we need it. And we need to put as many pair of legs to it as we possibly can and make it happen. Make it law if it's possible.
Call for the question.
Yes.
This is on the actual item. Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Jones,
Emphatically, yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson. Yes. Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
you had mentioned a
Yes.
resolution, or not a resolution, but you want to do
Yes,
something.
I want to introduce the,
Could you speak into the microphone?
yes, I want to put a resolution on the floor and give the background that in 2017, September the 12th, I believe, we passed a resolution from the floor to give the attorney a 60-day notice and the RFP out. At that time, the attorney notified us that we weren't allowed to put it on the floor. That too have changed. We're allowed to put it on the floor. I make a resolution that we all approve that our attorney firm, per their contract of a 60-day notice, we give them their 60-day notice as of today and immediately put out an RFP for another attorney firm or attorney.
Madam Clerk.
Just for clarity, so you don't have it written out, this is a motion, not a resolution, right?
It will be a resolution.
You don't have a resolution.
It will be a resolution. Put a motion on the floor and then pass. It's a done deal.
Okay, that's what I need clarity on. So your motion is to give the attorney firm 60-day notice, effective immediately, and issue an RFP for legal services?
That is correct.
Is there support?
Support.
There's a motion made to terminate the services, the current attorney firm, Bittner and Jennings, is that correct, Mr. Manager? Bittner and Hearn and Jennings. And it was seconded by
Commissioner
Commissioner
Adams.
Adams. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
I have to say that in the past, watching movies, it seemed like always the brother do die first. I had no problem knocking off the brother. But I do have a problem with this now, and the timing. And I would just ask, if we do this, my question becomes there, if we do this, which we did do it, it's already been done, it's already happened. We did do this before. But right now, without having the city manager as a star witness on a lot of cases, and we have a new city manager who has no knowledge on some of the cases that we got going, the question is this the right time? I know there's an issue, there's a problem that needs to be corrected. But my only question now, being the last few weeks of sessions that we've entered, and nobody knowing what's really going on because the star witness is gone, is this the right time? I mean, when you have I believe you had the Bell case going on, you have the sign case going on, you have litigation in the tax tribunal. Can we find somebody who can come up to date at the speed that we need? Not the whole commission, not the whole the city at harm. That was the vote that I said before in the Herald Palladium and this body, that when we hold the city at harm, because somebody has the ability to bring back litigation, and we support things without a remedy, but if y'all got a remedy, and hopefully the attorney will be dropping off an application at my doorstep Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I don't mind it. But right now, is it the right time? If you can give me a good answer, then I can go with it. But I will say that Commissioner Henry is right. We did vote on this 2 times. And it was voted to do it twice, and yet it was never followed through. But right now, I would ask even of the city manager, is he up to speed enough to handle the managerial load and now the legal load? Because somebody's gonna have to forbear that responsibility. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
The chair will recognize the city manager.
I have a point of order. I don't think I don't think we should ask the city manager that particular question in front of an audience. We're asking him to say what he can or cannot do. And I have a problem with that. That's a point of order. We should not be asking him that question. That's a question we needed to know. It's something that should be behind closed doors, but not in this meeting asking him about what he's up to speed on. Yeah. That is a point of order, and we should not be doing.
Can I clarify the question then, Honorable Mayor?
The city manager is definitely capable to say whether or not he will answer or not. But the mayor, there's nothing that would prohibit the question that was asked by Mayor Pro Tem. Is he capable or up to speed on the current cases? And he's well able.
But I think it's a principle.
Chair recognizes the city manager.
I agree with you, Mr. Mayor, and everyone else. The city manager is well able. No. But this is not a time for me to answer a question like that.
Okay.
I'm fine.
I have.
Hello?
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And just like all of the comments that have been spoken about this particular item, just because you can do something does not make it necessary or right to do those things because you can do that. Just as the Mayor Pro Tem stated, it probably behooves us to wait to do something of this nature. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should always do those things that you can do because you have the votes to do them. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
1, 2, that's 3 people that have spoke, okay. I'm just trying to figure out who the people were that she said that spoke on it. That'll be in a second.
That floor now.
I wish we had a little more civilized behavior. Commissioner Singleton.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last, a lot of resolutions went back in the past and stuff didn't get acted on, but I do remember, and I don't know what it was, but the last time this thing came about, it was, it talked about going back and doing some negotiations or something, and it was a committee that was supposed to be set up. That never did happen either. And then also, I do have concerns with timing and where we're at right now, and having a new city manager where it seems lately that information has been flowing more to the commission before in recent times. So I think that the timing is definitely not a good time. We need to continue to operate and find out where we're at. And there are cases, that a bunch of cases that got to be cleared up, and put him in that position or anybody else. I think it would be better.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Henderson, because people shouldn't do things just because they couldn't, just like I shouldn't be looked over. And there's nothing uncivilized in this room except for your behavior. I really hate that this issue has come up because it should have been taken care of a long time ago when it first came up. Thank you, Mayor, for your politics. I think Honorable Commissioner Henry, I think that this is an item that probably needs to be tabled. I think that there was a few that needed to say something, but I don't think that now is the time that we put this forth. Someone thought that it was funny when I made the statement about, well, I can use our gentle lady, Mary Donald, for instance. She passed, may she rest in power. And I think she sat in this seat. And she was replaced. If something happens to Donald Trump, he'll be replaced. If anything happened to any of us, with whatever is going on in our little busyness down here as we linger as earthlings on this earth, we're all replaceable. And if there's something undone, somebody is going to always pick up. Amen. And carry on. No such thing as too much going on for anything.
Chair recognizes, well, I'll share. So I think that all due respect to the gentle lady of the Third Ward, I think that this is irresponsible. I think it's reckless. I think that it's an affront to the residents. The city attorney is to protect the interests of the people and help with the effort of holding the residents harmless to litigation. The city currently has multiple cases that this law firm has fought and have been very successful in their defense of the city of Benton Harbor. We have the city income tax case that's currently appealed. We have tribunal cases that are currently in litigation or pending. We have a closed session tonight regarding a legal case and potential other lawsuits that we may incur. We just terminated the city manager. We currently do not have a finance director as an employee, and the city manager is injured. So now we get rid of the city attorney. You know, it's just not, it's not good politics, it's not good government. And, you know, I think that it would really cause irreparable harm to the city of Benton Harbor. Chair recognizes Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I suppose you are supporting our attorney firm since the state left them here and none of us, you or the former city manager, are the only ones that could speak with them and give any legal opinion. So I guess you think that it's but I have to ask. And I asked the city manager when he came in to get a comprehensive report of what cases were on the attorney's docket. I'm not sure if we have that or not. I asked for it. Yes, we've had some very successful cases, but it didn't come from them. It came from us. We told them, no, we're not going to settle. We're going to go to court. You go to court. And we won. Didn't we, colleagues? We did that and we won. We are not taking any more recommendation from our insurance company to settle. Because that's what we've done for the last 25 years, settled out of court. We need what the charter requires us to have is an attorney that we can talk to as a body, not just two individuals. This firm has proven to us, even when we come back over a year ago in full control, that we still had no avenue to talk to them about anything. It was all about the city manager and the mayor. This resolution was passed September the 12th in 2017. Here's a memo from the former city manager talking about what we just did. He said, he sent out a draft request for proposal on September the 12th, 2017. To this date, I have not received any feedback, nor have I received any direction. In the letter to the city attorney, the effective date of termination is October the 16th, 2017 at 12 noon. As was stated in the August 31st, 2017 update, there are several cases that may extend past the 60-day window. The suggestion would be for the city commission to hold a special committee meeting, which did not happen, on 26th of September in 2017. This is a resolution that was passed by the majority, and the former city manager did not enforce it. And I'm asking us to please set the next thing that we need to do to set the city up right, to make us in a new day. It's a new day for Benton Harbor. So the people that have not supported us and that we paid since this date of the 17th, 30% almost increased their salary. I call for the question.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harrelson.
Yes.
This is on the actual motion. Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
No.
Commissioner Isom.
No.
Commissioner Jones.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
No.
Commissioner Adams.
No.
Commissioner Henderson.
No.
Mayor Mohammed.
No.
Motion fails.
This brings us to staff communication. Chair recognizes our Director of Public Safety, Director McGinnis.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. I actually don't have, excuse me, report tonight. I would want to a previous discussion, bring the commission's attention to Chapter 21 in reference to discussion as far as alcohol. Back in 2014-15, we changed the ordinance licensing because what you said is true. The state of Michigan grants licenses for liquor licenses without our consideration. They ignore us. So we put something in place where somebody would have to have a license directly from the city as well, that if we revoke that, they couldn't sell. That's Chapter 21. If you review that, again, that was about 14 or 15 when we had changed that. One of the first things I did when I came on, like I said, was Commissioner Henry was the committee chair on that. So just bring that to your attention because we do have power in our city. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioner.
Chair recognizes our City Assessor, Ms. Story.
Thank you. I just want to make you aware that we will be pulling any building permits that have been issued and starting to visit those in the field. Earlier in the year, this body passed a resolution to levy fines and fees on late property transfer affidavits. Want to let you know that the first round of those have been calculated and will be on the winter tax bills. We're just about done verifying all the sales that happened in the past 24 months that will be in our study period. So we are gearing up for our busy season. Thank you.
I do have a question. The homes that are being built by the hotel, are those a part of the 425?
I believe so. It depends if you have a road name. I could probably tell you off the top of my head whether or not they're the 425 parcels.
You know what a hotel is?
Yeah. I think where you're thinking of, and the answer would be yes. Now we don't assess those. The city of St. Joe does, but we are collecting the taxes from them for a certain period of time.
What about the permits?
The city of St. Joe assessor assesses those, so she gets the permits in St. Joe, visits them, values them, and then gives our office the final value, and we just imported that into our system to levy tax.
So they're not, the permits that they pull to build
Do not come here.
do not come to us.
No.
So the taxes come to us.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Yes.
in the 425 brownfield.
Yes,
Is that?
St. John's.
that's the 425, the annex parcels.
So all we would collect is the income tax.
No, we collect the property taxes.
Right, but I'm saying in terms of the contractors, that's building, we should collect the, whatever they're making, building on that property, whatever the cost, are we getting income
I mean,
tax from the contractors?
Well, I don't know. Income tax is not my department, so I can't answer that.
You're right, I'll contact another department.
Okay.
Good point.
Chair recognizes the city attorney.
Honorable Mayor, there are no reports tonight.
Chair recognizes the city clerk.
Please take notice that a general election will be held in the city within the county of Berrien, state of Michigan, on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, for the purpose of electing candidates for the following offices: 1 mayor, 4-year term, 2 commissioner at large, 4-year terms, 1 first ward commissioner, 4-year term, and 2nd ward commissioner, 4-year term. Anyone who is not already registered may register to vote at the office of the city clerk, the office of the county clerk, a secretary of state branch office, or other designated state agencies. The last day to register in any matter other than in person with the city clerk is Monday, October 21st, 2019. After this date, anyone who qualifies may register to vote in person with proof of residency at the city clerk's office during the following times: regular business hours, Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. Saturday, November 2nd, from 8:30 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. and election day, November 5th, from 7:00 a.m. until 8:00 p.m. Absentee ballots are also available in the clerk's office. Last announcement, we have vacancies that exist on the following boards: Benton Harbor St. Joe Joint Board of Commissioners for the wastewater treatment plant, Board of Review, Cemetery Board, Compensation Commission, Construction Board of Appeals, Dollar Board, Downtown Development Authority, Housing Commission, Income Tax Appeal Board, and Planning Commission.
Chair recognizes the city manager.
I want to say I have no report, but I want to take a moment to see if I can bring some clarity to some conversations that were made earlier, if I may, just briefly. I want to separate and try to make clear the part about opting out and not opting out. Opting out is not going against what the people want. Opting out is doing exactly what they need to do to make sure that we have time to protect them by having an ordinance. As soon as we do that, we can opt back in before November the 1st. That should be clear. It's not doing anything to hurt the people. It is to help the people, to help the city, to help us.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Real brief. Thank the citizens for coming out. Thank you all you citizens too that participate in the committees and bring stuff before the commission. That is imperative for a community to thrive. So it's just not the decisions of people that sit in these seats. It's going to take up every person in this community to step up and get involved and have your say so, and let us know what you want in your community. Who better best know what needs to happen than the people that live in the community. So thank you for participation. Tell others, it's not a terminal thing. You won't get shot down or nothing like that. It's tough, it's not easy, but we need participation from everybody. Staff for their hard work. I know they a lot of times get hit from all type of directions and questions, and even our colleagues here, we agree, disagree, and, you know, I think we all really trying to get to the same place, but we may have some different roads that we're traveling, so let's just keep what we doing to make this city better. That's it for me.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank the citizens coming out tonight. Ms. Kennard, garden, great garden. Some big sweet potatoes. That's the family side, well, more than a family size, but you get a good output, you get a good harvest, good harvest. Put in the work, that's what you get. And just keep up the good work, you know, you always, I see you there falling asleep, but just show you. Put in the work, it's time to rest. But I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, ever since I met you in 2015, you know, you've been the same. Right, you have a passion for the city, you in the garden, so get your reward.
Now you can tell it never closed down.
That's right.
Mr. Haywood, comments, thank you for your comments. The Racial Equality Equity Committee, we got one now, so got to put in the work in that and get it going. You know, it take work, it take people. We can put Mr. Duncan on that committee. You know, please. So we're gonna take all this working together, like Mr. Singleton said. You know, we just gotta, like Ms. Kennard said, we gotta recognize what we have here in Benton Harbor. You know, by working together, putting in the work. You know, we can make this thing happen. You know, I drove around the city a couple times on the roads that's been fixed and repaired. You know, smooth. It's looking good. It's working. You know, and because of the tax dollars that have been put into it, you know, a lot of citizens been happy about it. You know, this lady, I was at Myers, and she was elderly. She was an elderly lady, but she hugged me. She came and hugged. You know, she got up on me. You know, close. But, you know, with a church hugs from a mother. You know, she made me feel good. Said she appreciated having her street fixed. You know, but it felt good. You know, appreciate it. You know. People appreciate what we're doing down here, just not me, it's a team. It's teamwork. Make the dream work. You know, expect great things from out of here. You're gonna walk through that door, present us with stuff. Expect great things gonna happen and been hard. It's happening. It's happening. God bless you. God bless Mr. Harper.
Amen. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the citizens for coming out, watching this. I gotta say something. First of all, there were some questions asked that never got answered, and I'm gonna say, if this is not the time, then when is the time? And what are we waiting on? Now, would my colleagues, you all called and said, this is not the time. City manager said, this is not the time. So the citizens should ask, well, when is the time? And when is it time to make another change? We made a big change in the community, in the government. So I will be asking that question in private. I'm sorry, y'all don't get the answer. When then I asked the question of, what if we opt out of recreational marijuana, how do we opt back in? That has not been answered either. So I'll ask that question in private too. Now, let's talk about what's happening with recreational marijuana. This is money. This is an opportunity for Benton Harbor residents to get involved. The state of Michigan has allowed people that have got convicted of marijuana to get their record expunged. They've been in this community. They were at, last month, they were at Connexus. None of us knew about it. They talked to all of these young white minorities, and they gave them all the information on recreational marijuana. Now, Thursday, the 10th, at the library from 10 to 12. They're gonna be there with applications. Anyone that has lived in the city for 5 years or has been convicted of a marijuana charge have an opportunity to create a small business off of the marijuana industry. Wow. This is a big thing. Colorado, people are taking care of their families. People are becoming millionaires, billionaires.
Get the paperwork in order, put it on the floor.
Tell your people to come out Thursday at the library from 10 to 12 and fill out the information, get the information. This is big, huge. But one thing we don't want to do, we want to make it easy for our people to get in businesses. So when I say let's have a moratorium or opt out, it's a good thing because we need to put things in place for us. Because that minority, young white minorities, they're coming and they're using their grandfather's money to open up a business. So we are right to put a moratorium on it, to stop it temporarily until we put things in place. So that was good. I'm glad to hear that. And the state of Michigan is glad to make Benton Harbor one of their target cities. So we're in it, and we can't stop now. We just can't stop. We've got to keep moving. We made the first choice, and now we got to make other choices. There's other things that need to be fixed in Benton Harbor's government, and it's got to be done. And I say now. You guys say later.
Thank you,
People.
Commissioner Adams.
One second, sir.
Commissioner, your time has expired.
I know my time expired, but I'm asking you to give me 2 more seconds or 30 more seconds.
2 seconds.
Did you just give the mayor pro tem all the time in the world to talk?
He hasn't spoken yet.
No.
Favor ain't fair.
Okay. I know you know. I know some citizens know, but I'm talking to the ones that don't know. I'm talking to the ones that don't know what's going on in this community. So thank you for changing my thought on what I was going to say, Mayor. But that's the kind of stuff you do when you bully us with your gavel and your unauthoritative chairperson.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
I want to thank the residents for taking time out of this schedule to come down and find out what's going on in your community and how things are working for you or not. Because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I'm gonna pick up where I left off because I'm really excited about the young committee that the powerhouses of the youth are about to take off. This year is almost coming to an end, and it's just been so exciting working with One Love Global on this big event that's about to take place with my brother's keeper. And thinking back over the summer how we had the Juneteenth parade with visitors and being involved in Black Lives Matter, Black Votes Matter. I mean, it's so much going on in the country that I just have a greater appreciation for who I am, especially in my Black skin. I am a proud Black woman and thankful to my Creator for where He has brought me from. I am prouder than I even stopped to think to imagine. Thinking back over my life and where I've come from, mother of 6, a bad abusive divorce of many years, and to be married to this day for 19 years. Wow. And I'm down here. Because I love y'all. I love my community. I love making decisions that help to better all of our lives. But more than anything, I'm looking so forward to gaining some groups from these young powerhouses that are going to get together in November for the many years to come ahead of them, for them to become the leaders that we know that they can be. And that's what we all need to be doing in our prospective places, wherever we are in the community. Whether it's in a group, 1 or 2, 3 or 4. But we need to be mentoring on every opportunity we get, because our children are in trouble. They're in trouble. And they say, I mean, with everything that's been going on with the court case, and the young witness got shot, they say, you see something, say something. And don't stop. You see something, say something. Because the next breath any of us breathe is not promised to any of us. Too many people get away with too many wrong things. And righteous will truly rule. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank Ms. Gavin for presenting this to us, allowing us to have a chance to show our support behind that. It's not so much as far as the feet being put to it, because you did delay work along with your committee. I call them your crew. It's about how you apply it. No different than anything else out here. As it was mentioned with Rainbow Coalition, NAACP, and the rest of them, all those things once was geared for so-called equality, but if it's not high profile and it's not high paying, it's not coming on. So it's not about the leg work, it's about how you apply it. No different than anything else that's applied down this way. When your things come before us, already known it's uneven, but we choose to vote in a different way, whether it benefits our citizens or not, more times not than it does. And it's right, it's reckless, it's irreparable, non-dignified, everything you could think of. All the tough stuff happens here, but nothing is applied out there, right? You can tell by how we carry on. No courtesy, no anything, but certain gratuities are handled in the way because of true leadership, and everything else was handled in a certain way. People wouldn't run off at the mouth, whether it's the slanderous or bold enough to try to overload the personnel with situations that wasn't done previous, things that also put us in irreparable harm. What you've done is a very bold and brave step, a lot more than most of us ever have done in our lives, period. All right, don't be ashamed, go out there and run with it. You know my number, you know a few other people. Now, as far as the children, that's showing a bold step for the underfather people. And I managed to be around the flagpole with you and watch the magnitude of what they really wanted to do as far as how they want to live, how they want to go all forward. And I think we're doing a disservice that we're not showing the way for our children out here. All right? Looking out for each other, or looking out for our so-called citizens, the people we are so closely invested to protect and look after. We're not doing our due diligence by expressing our own education and learning and reading these bits of information that's thrown out, then to come and throw it in your face and spoon feed you misinformation that you could have picked up yourself. Trust in our integral law firm to look out for us when we have noticed irrelevant, irreparable, just reckless counsel throughout the time. And I even challenged the commissioner to even go review a tape where I questioned certain things So they can hear for themselves that it was presented at a time where most of us is not looking at it for black and white. I heard about a lot of different things that was brought before here, before the city and all that, but I never heard anything being sustained. And if you remember, that was one of the curious things I had. How will it be sustained? I don't want to hear anything falling to the wayside after a year, 6 months. I'm hearing about things that to me, it never existed, right? So, yeah, true. We've done a lot of things that we're not trying to repair. And I would really like for you to have young people challenge us more, as well as those citizens that you come in contact with. Challenge us more to be more honest, to show integrity, to show bounds shown that we haven't done this year, last year, or those that was before us. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Harris.
Thank you, the Honorable Mayor. No comment.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Like Commissioner Harrelson, almost no comment, but I would just like to say, thank all of the residents for coming out tonight and witnessing what happens in government. And just briefly, I wanted to say, one of my cousins used to always say to me, there's more than one way to skin a fish. It just depends on how you do it and how you decide to do that. And more often than not, when it comes to politics, people will choose one side or the other. And this, as Commissioner Jones just said, not necessarily because it's the right thing to do, quote unquote, for your citizens, but it's because that's what they want to do. And so many of the things that have been done has been under the guise of for the citizens, or this is what we need to do for whatever reason. One thing that I have consistently done, being in office, is I'm going to do what's right, regardless of what side that is. And most oftentimes I'm alone in making some of those decisions. I'm usually not in the majority, and that is because I will not be cajoled, pushed, or anything. I take my time with everything, and I try and listen to get information and to understand what's being said before making crucial decisions. And so in this office, as many have stated, it's not necessarily easy. Someone is always throwing arrows and coming up with things that you should do. But all I'll say is sit in the seat for a day, a week, a month, and you'll find out it's not as easy as people think it is, because you are making decisions that will affect a community and stuff that you may not also even agree with, but a decision has to be made. And so for many of you, you come down and you get involved, which is great and it's honorable, because many people don't. There are a few people on the path to correcting something, but everybody has an idea and nothing gets put into place. With that being said, Mrs. Gavin, Ms. Green is one of those people that had an idea and decided to get that thing rolling and came before the commission, not knowing what the answers would be, in spite of even some setbacks with what she was trying to do, still brought those things forward. And there are many of you who sit in this room who've done some of those same things. As I look out over business owners, people who started businesses, things that most people won't do, but they talk about. So on this commission, with this particular crew, there are people who have served for many years and have not done anything for the 12, 14, 16 years up until the last 6 to 8 years on this committee have done those things. And so this commission has been about getting things done. Regardless of what side you've been on, there are some things that have been done. But there's people who've been on this commission for many years and has done nothing. You ask them about cleanups or doing anything, they're not doing that. And they'll tell you they're not going to do any of that. And so I'm saying this, I don't care what the backlash might be for even saying that, because I'm not saying any names, so if people respond, that means that's them. Because I haven't said any names, so if people respond, that's them. So, and I digress. We call each other brother and sister, and particularly brothers talking about looking out for their sisters. But since I've sat on this commission, that has been one of the things I have not experienced. All because I'm an independent thinker. You're not gonna push me one way or the other. I'm gonna always stand in the middle and decide to do what's right. And because of those very same reasons, I'm one side or the other. Somebody told me you always do this or you always do that. No, I always do what I feel is right. And I will continue until the day that I'm not in this seat to do that same thing, like it or not. So thank you all for coming out. Stay involved, because again, I'm preaching to the choir.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, for the opportunity to serve on this commission and to have opportunity to speak. I do agree with what my colleague just so stated, that a lot of people have done nothing. And a lot of people have benefited off the backs of people when they were doing nothing. A lot of people got money and everything else off the backs of these people and have not done nothing. So she's correct. I think that your vote speaks. I want to digress with that because it's not irrelevant, and I ain't talking about you when I said that at all. I promise you I ain't speaking to you or anybody else. But when that Whirlpool money came, well, not Whirlpool, let me say it like this, since y'all want to go there. When that money came in from Whirlpool, we negotiated an agreement with them. Me, Mayor Muhammad, Commissioner Shaw negotiated, because it was coming anyway. We negotiated to get $200,000 then the $300,000. Somebody had to negotiate something, but there's a lot of people benefited off that. So there's one way to throw stone, there's another one when the truth, and I believe in black and white. I want to digress from that because this is not more important than what I'm getting ready to state. I want to give our regards to the city, to Brother Jamie Davis, who lost his daughter. My prayers and our well wishes are with you and your family. Also the Phillips family, Pastor Lamar, Sean Thompson, who was lost, and my brother Kiowa, who we went to school with. It was just a rash of death that's hit our community, and it says something greater than our insignificant life is but a vapor. My neighbor, who I came out the driveway and spoke to every morning, Steve Mitchell, passed away. Who was our neighbor. And I would hate to have something really in my heart against somebody who's gone, because when they're gone, they're gone. We had a young lady who did sit in the same committee, same chair, who fought very hard for people. Who one day we got a call that she was no longer with us. And we draped her seat in honor of her for many weeks and months. She did fight hard for the citizens. And if you're not fighting the same fight that somebody else, don't mean you're not fighting. Some people go fight here, they fight there, they fight other places. And everybody don't want their name on the paper for what they do. I want to ask of our attorney, and I want to say this real quickly, please keep fighting. I know it was said tonight, and believe it or not, your doctor can determine your life. Your banker can determine your life, and your attorney can sit right there in that courtroom and do nothing. And I've seen it happen time and time again. We have attorneys who refuse to fight for us. So I asked Attorney Rock, I'm not talking about the other individuals on that firm, but you have shown us your ability to communicate well with us and to give us some things that we desired and have asked for. And this ain't, I'm not kissing up to nobody, because honest God truth, we pay our share. But I do want you to go back and still fight. Because I know how it is when somebody pulls a carpet from under you, and then you say, well, what the heck's the use? Please don't. keep fighting, you're getting paid. I know you love your job, fight hard for Penn Harbor, and he is not the other attorney. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Seats and all the council persons that spoke previously and staff. I'd like to thank the residents for coming out to be a part of the process and to be a part of your local government. About 70 to 75% of the street work has been completed. Kaling construction is actually a little ahead of schedule, despite the rain that we've gotten over the last few days. The weather has been very kind to construction. We've been able to get a lot of streets fixed. A lot of residents who have said they've lived on certain blocks and have never seen any kind of repair other than somebody taking some dirt or rocks or some hot tar throwing it in the home. So there are 15 to 20 streets left that will be completed. Most of that will be in the 4th Ward, Madison, Edgecombe, off in that north side area has been neglected for years. So kudos to staff, Public Works that's worked closely with Kaling Construction, Mr. Mitchell, and his administration of the project, City Council. I'm sure you're out talking with residents in your ward, and we are coming, Commissioner Harrelson, to the 4th Ward. So please, about time, but we're gonna say the best for last. So that's good news. The city income tax case, still, as you know, is being appealed, but it's a very important case. So as the Mayor Pro Tem uttered, continue to serve and work on behalf of the city of Benton Harbor. We do appreciate, despite what comes from the floor sometimes, but we do appreciate the good work that you all are doing. I do want to send special condolences from the office of the mayor to Mr. Davis. I did hear, and I don't have a contact for you, but I did want to speak to you and just let you know that politics is one thing, but humanity and brotherhood is another. And I pray that God comforts you and your family and your loss. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Actually, we do have a closed session. So the stated reason is for the Adams Outdoor sign versus City of Benton Harbor ongoing litigation. Is there a go into recess?
Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Singleton, Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson? Yes. Commissioner Isaac?
Yes.
I'm not gonna be at any of the meetings the rest of the week, and I will be right there to try to get to finish. But I got some papers.
I don't deal with
Yeah, I brought
income tax.
yesterday.